Our parliament is deadlocked over the allegation made by the BJP. Let me tell you what happened in parliament today. The BJP, for the first time in parliament, has raised an alleged link between the Congress and George Soros, specifically between Sonia Gandhi and George Soros, saying that there are different connections, meetings that have happened that beyond doubt prove that the Congress party, and specifically Sonia Gandhi, is linked to George Soros. They said that on record in parliament. The parliament is deadlocked. And we have someone very, very important in the global scheme of things who spoke to Republic TV. His name is Mark Ivanyo. Mark Ivanyo is a former DOJ member. He was a DOJ member under the previous Trump regime. He's a Republican Party leader. And he knows a thing or two about the deep state and what George Soros-linked NGOs do. So he spoke to Republic TV's senior executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor. There's an interview where not just India, but even America is battling the deep state. America admits that there is a deep state. And more importantly, in this interview, he admits that the deep state is so dangerous even to their own country. They will go after nationalists, is what he said. Let's play out that full interview where we spoke to Mark Ivanyo, Abhishek Kapoor and Mark Ivanyo. Take a look.
Right, friends, India's ruling party, the Bharatiya Janata Party, took umbrage at the manner in which the US deep state is meddling in the affairs of India, particularly in the context of Bangladesh, and the manner in which the likes of George Soros are clearly seen to be active behind the scenes in promoting the opposition in India, helping them find their political groove, even if the people in the country perhaps don't want it, or at least are not giving them mandate for. So the BJP took a clear public position that it is US deep state meddling, which finds resonance in issues like the Adani debate, which the opposition Congress in India has been picking up. And now we are seeing echoes of this coming in from the United States. A Republican group or a politically active group, active or associated with the Republican Party, has endorsed, seemingly with a public post, what the BJP is saying, and has in fact taken a position that the upcoming Trump administration should be doing something about it. So the group is called Republicans for National Renewal, and we have its executive director, Mark D. Ivanyo, joining us live from Texas. Very good evening to you, Mark. Good morning there. And what made you come out with this public position on something which was a matter of debate in India?
Well, good evening to you and your audience. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And to answer your question, it's really not unique to India. We've seen this all over the world, frankly. I've visited governments who are allied or at least friendly with the United States over the last few years. Countries as different as Hungary and El Salvador, and we see the same exact issue play out. We have these Soros-funded NGOs who work hand in hand with the deep state of the United States to promote these liberal globalist candidates. They're always in opposition to the more conservative or nationalist parties or governments. And, for example, we just saw in Romania a couple of days ago, the ambassador to Romania from the United States endorsed the cancellation of elections. If a country like India or Russia had canceled elections after a liberal candidate would win, those same people would be outraged. And so, we're just calling out what we see as a pervasive problem all across the world, where the United States deep state gets involved. It doesn't matter what country it is, and they promote through the George Soros NGOs these liberal candidates. And so if you're a party or a candidate who loves your country and puts your country first, you will be #1 target for these people.
Mark, good that you say that, because, there is a disquiet in the Indian establishment that what happened in Afghanistan, then what happened in Bangladesh, what's happening in Syria, and many other examples that you gave, there is a connection, and which is the US deep state. You think the Trump administration, after taking over next month, is going to do something about it?
Well, President Trump is great friends with Prime Minister Modi because they're both patriots who love their countries and put their countries first. And Kash Patel is the appointed head of FBI. President Trump has said he's willing to go to war, so to speak, to get Kash Patel and others into office. And I think that's going to make a huge change in how the deep state operates. They will no longer be able to operate with impunity. They'll be very careful. I'm sure plenty of people will be fired. Maybe, hopefully, some of those people will be prosecuted, because we're talking about people who have been in office or in their positions for 10, 20 years, really pushing this liberal globalist agenda all over the world. And so I think when President Trump does take office, we'll see some change. I'm hoping we're going to see very big change. It could be not as big change because President Trump is facing a lot of opposition from the deep state, as we've seen. They've tried to put him in jail. Pretty sure they're behind assassination attempts. They've done lawfare against him. They've done everything they can to keep him out of office. Yeah. Now he's won. He's on his way to office, but that's not the end of it. They're going to continue to try to impede him and his agenda. But I can say that for sure, things will look better all across the world for conservative or nationalist governments and parties. President Trump is at the very least neutral, but also he likes to help out his friends. And so I think we're going to see a huge change. But like I said, it's going to be not so easy. We're going to have a lot of opposition.
Yeah, I mean, President Trump, even in his first term, came on the plank of draining the swamp. Obviously, he couldn't in one term. Maybe this time he will double down on that aspect of his presidency. But Mark, given the fact that you mentioned about how nationalist regimes get targeted by the US deep state, are you sort of thinking of a conservative coalition, an international or global conservative coalition, so that, for example, the Republican Party in the United States and the BJP in India and similar parties in other countries sort of coordinate in a manner that in each territory, nation first remains the ideology which keeps currency rather than this globalist, woke, liberal agenda?
Well, Abhishek, I'm glad you asked. Actually, we have Republicans for National Renewal has a domestic mission, which is to push the Republican Party away from the establishment, the fake conservatives, and more towards the America First, pro-Trump patriots. And likewise, our international mission is to connect Republicans who are more nationalists, more America First, with other patriots all over the world. And like I said, I've been in Hungary, I've been in El Salvador, Guatemala, trying to build that bridge between the conservatives in the United States and conservatives elsewhere, because I think we need to network and work together if we're ever going to be able to create an offense against George Soros NGOs, against the deep state. We have to work together. We can't just be these fractured, different coalitions, because the left is very well coordinated, as I'm sure you and your audience have seen. Yep. They give out their marching orders, the globalists, and they're all repeating the same message, doing the same thing, whether it's in the European Union or it's in Latin America or anywhere across the world. The leftists are very well coordinated, very well funded. And so I agree that we need to coordinate with the conservatives, the true patriots, not the fake conservatives, because there's a lot of those. And so we are actively working towards that. And during President Trump's next term, we hope to strengthen those ties, especially between America and India. Yes. We're natural allies. You know, President Trump and Prime Minister Modi get along great. Yes. And even Russia. President Trump and Vladimir Putin get along well. We're rivals. Yes. We don't have to be enemies. And so that's what we're looking forward to.
Yes. It's clear, Mark, that as much as for India, George Soros is a problem for the United States also. Hopefully, with the change of government next month in Washington, D.C., something would move in that direction to make sure that this Soros deep state linkage is taken care of. On that note, thank you so much, Mark Ivanyo, Executive Director of Republicans for National Renewal, joining us live from Texas.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It was my pleasure.